This headline from The Hill, it caught my eye. Most young men are single. Most young women are not.
Young men have fallen faster than any demographic in America over the last 40 years.
It's a different world now. Like, we don't need men the way that they used to.
Nobody needs men!
The future is female.
Men and women are drifting further apart, and society is crumbling because of it.
A fascinating debate has broken out about the value of marriage.
You've kind of got the tradcon versus red pill thing.
This men's rights crowd that sometimes just goes too far the other way.
You need to stop acting like grown boys and infants and actually become men.
Marriage is a bond, and it's a sacred bond.
It's a machine designed to extract resources from you.
Now many of the red-pilled have taken the position that it's bad for men to get married.
Hannah Pearl Davis, or just Pearly things.
One of the most controversial faces in all of the internet.
She goes on to say that marriage is a terrible deal for men.
Because if me and you were in a business contract, you would never sign a contract where I am paid to leave.
Gee, what could go wrong there?
74% or something of divorces are initiated by women. Men have everything to lose, primarily their own children.
Men get killed by the courts and by divorce laws.
I had no idea that courts of family law were courts of equity, not courts of law.
Because in family court, you don't need evidence to accuse someone of abuse. You need no evidence. When you guys say get married young, a lot of these men don't know what they're signing up for, and you're not going to be there when their entire life falls apart. I interview them on the other side.
I didn't meet my son until he was 15 months old.
How much did you spend trying to get him back?
On legal fees alone was about $200,000.
Before you know it, you're homeless. You're literally just thrown out onto the street.
We absolutely reinforce bad behavior from women.
Wives are taught to leave their husbands, and then daughters grow up without their fathers.
Family is the foundation of society.
Every problem in society comes from single mother homes.
A lot of women will just chase this negative rabbit hole of happiness, endless happiness.
Feminism's biggest failures is it lies to women. We tell women to date as many guys as possible. We tell them to put off family into marriage.
You are allowed to leave your perfect husband. You are allowed to end a relationship with a really great boyfriend.
Oh, freeze your ex, have an abortion. What? You're evil.
I don't think there's anything else in life that we actually ever go into preparing to fail. Right. Like, if you have the mentality of this is going to go wrong and be pessimistic, naturally the outcome is going to be that it's going to fail anyway. Yeah. It's self-sabotage. And that's the thing, like, women are so willing to leave marriages because they're not happy. This is not about happiness. The most important thing is the children. And the problem is we have a modern society where it's me, my feelings, leave when I feel like it, instead of doing what's best for the kids.
This myth that we live in an age of male privilege. Where's my male privilege?
They think, well, men have all the rights. They have all the power.
Privileged patriarchal system that we have.
Why doesn't our society care about men's rights?
I have no friends,
No wife, and no social life.
Men are alone in this situation. Men are homeless. Men are thinking about eating guns.
I've seen so many men on the brink of suicide, and they didn't do anything wrong.
How are you equal if the men are the ones that have to fight and die to defend the country? The men are the ones that build and maintain all the infrastructure.
Women are helplessly dependent upon men.
The so-called deaths of despair from suicide, overdose, or alcohol, 3 times higher among men than among women.
Culture is telling men you are no good.
You got to get your act together.
I think men have failed themselves.
What kind of a man are you? What kind of a woman are you going to attract?
If men are in trouble, so are women.
Everybody knows this is a huge problem, but nobody wants to admit it.
Every single woman at the table said they wanted a man.
500K.
500K.
300K.
300K.
200K.
Am I crazy?
Everything is really set up against you to fail as a man.
If men make less than women, women don't want to marry them.
So you know who wants more economically and emotionally viable men? Women.
I don't want to be an independent woman anymore.
I don't want to be a strong, independent woman.
I'm over it. When is it going to be my turn?
Where are we meeting the men that don't stop?
I can't keep having these same conversations.
The only simp here is you, Pearl. You simp for men.
I think you said for women.
She's a provocateur. She says stupid stuff, but Pearl is right about this.
It's already happening. It's just not out in the open yet.
Now it's just hookup culture is going to be our fairy tale ending because men don't want a wife and women can't find a husband. The future, if everybody follows your path, is there is no future.
We go into population decline, and our economy goes into decline.
Civilization will crumble.
The American story does not end well. This is an existential crisis, failing young men.
What is going on, people? Welcome to another episode of Pearl Daily. Thank you guys all for tuning in. As you guys know, we are formally demonetized on this channel. I worked for a year and a half for
free. And that really put a wrench in this divorce documentary. So we're trying to raise $100K for it. I do have $1 million on the GoFundMe because, shooters are going to shoot. But we are trying to raise $100K, and we are currently on $31,000, $767. So people do not want this documentary to come out. They have kicked me off of 7 TikTok accounts, 3 Instagram, and demonetized me on YouTube, all because I talk about men's issues. So if you want, donate. The link's in the description. Okay, so today we're talking about waiting till marriage. According to statistics, only 5% of women are virgins on their wedding nights. And by the way, guys, of those 5%, they don't say what percent of the virgins are morbidly obese. All right? If you're a virgin... Wait, Doug MPA, do we have the Your Virginity Doesn't Count video on the website? If we do, can you text me it? Because that was a great video I made. Because really your virginity doesn't count if you're ugly or fat, because you're really not bringing the value. Purity only counts if you're hot. Are you guys really, is this, if a woman's 60 and a virgin, do you care? No. You want the ran through 20-year-old, all right? So that's down from 21% in the 1970s. So even in the 70s, this was not the majority. Tradcons are still trying to push the concept of waiting until you are married to have sex, but in 2025, that's unrealistic. And I would go so far as to say it's dumb. It might be idealistic, but there's a difference between idealistic and realistic. Men and women are having sex. It's the undeniable reality. As a man, if you are waiting until sex to have married, as a man, if you are waiting to have sex until you're married, the longer you wait, the more likely it is that you are going to lose your virginity to a woman that's already been dug out by Tyrone, Chad, say it in the chat, Glocktavius, Gavin the starving musician, Tyrone. The more likely you're going to be weird when it comes to women too. That's the other issue. You wait too long. Now you have 0 flirting skills. Women are only messing with the charming men now, or the jacked ones, unfortunately. It's only the ones that give us the tingle. So the longer you hold out on entering the real dating marketplace like a normal person, the more weird men and women will be. Now, I don't say that you have to sleep with everybody, but unfortunately, and I don't say this with like a happy tone, I don't think it's working in 2025. I do not see it. I do not see the people waiting till marriage winning. And this is something I always thought, to be honest. I thought the key was just people should have waited till they're married. But the challenge I got to, I'm going to riff a little bit. The challenge I got to was that if waiting till marriage produced these happy marriages in the past, why were women so willing to opt out the first chance they could? And it goes back to women biologically do not want to be saddled down with a beta. And if they view the person that they're with as a beta, it doesn't matter if it was 100 years ago, they don't want to do it. All right, so waiting means the man is kind of cucked, because basically you get to pay a higher price for something that Chad, Tyrone, and Glocktavius got for free. The reason it kind of screws women is, I've never seen a pastor give an honest presentation on how long a guy is going to wait is based on how hot you are, ladies. It really is. Men are going to wait for marriage. Because again, women, we don't see average men. We don't. And I don't say this that's the way it should be. Right? And you could tell a woman to date on her level, but can we just be real here? Women aren't going to do that. So I'm not going to say have this miracle happen and expect it to happen. So if women always go for Chads are not going to wait, especially not for a mid. They might wait for someone that's beautiful. But, if you're a mid, I'd really say a gluck's got to be a selling point. The longer you wait, the weirder you're going to be, and nothing is worse than a man or a woman who's really weird in dating. Now, I hear the guys say, I don't mind a weird woman, but I don't. Actually, I'm thinking of Lolo Jones. She was so weird. 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 She was so we That's who I'm thinking. She was beautiful back in the day, but if you listen to her interviews, it's not cute. It's not like weird in a cute way. All right. So if you're a woman, the longer you wait, the more it shows that you're socially awkward and that there's something wrong with you, emotionally or mentally. Now, you might be saying, Pearl, you should be pushing for women to stay virgins. But when marriage is at 30 now, have you ever met a woman that's 30 and a virgin? There are so many red flags about these type of women. I'm not talking about a 20-year-old virgin, but people are not getting married at 20. They're getting married at 30. And if you can get married when you are young, then waiting isn't a problem. But staying single through your 20s and not having sex, stupid idea. And that's what we're going to talk about on today's show. Should men and women wait to have sex until they're married? This is going to be a call-in show. But we're going to react to some TikToks. And then we're going to have people call in. I'm debating. There's a video of Charlie Kirk I just found of him super simping I kind of wanted to react to. But I want to show the typical dynamic that we really find with these guys. Okay, let's do the TikToks first. Oh, I'm going to ask. So think about these questions. Should men and women wait to have, or I don't want to say should because you guys can do what you want. But would you recommend that men and women wait to have sex until they're married? Okay, we're gonna watch some TikToks. All right, so this is of a girl that did it. Oh, the internet.
This is something I have never talked about publicly, planning on it, but I felt like recently that I should. So here we go. I am someone who waited till marriage. Before you scroll, I'm not going to...
And by the way, half the girls that waited till marriage, backdoor and gluck gluck, that's how they get around it.
Judge, I'm not going to condemn. This is about me. I think the reason why I didn't talk about it is because I feel like the people who do talk about this online, 1, are super weird about it. 2, are super cringe. 3, will condemn people about it or be like, this is the way you need to do it. And I'm not doing any of those things. So you do you. I'm just telling you my experience. The main reason why I did this was honestly for my faith. And so I made
guys, I hear you guys saying, but STDs in the chat. All right. You can get an STD if you're married. We're going to do an STD show on Friday to give you guys an in-depth, like what your risks are. Basically. But one of the guys I interviewed that has herpes, he got it from his fucking wife. Like he got it in marriage. You know, you don't know what people are doing.
Decision pretty early on in my life that I was going to wait. The reason on top of this is I don't love hookup culture. I think the whole thing is very toxic for me. Like I want to bring back like this chivalrous age. We don't want to go back too far because like, you know, I like the right to vote. I do think that there's a lot of benefits to waiting. Completely disagree with you have to test drive the car before you buy it. Like I think that's completely false. The phrase has nothing.
Can you imagine? You do the whole waiting. You dedicate the rest of your life to this woman. And then she says, God says I can't gluck gluck. That happens to guys. I know. And I'm going to tell you guys anecdotal stories. There's a guy in England. He waited till he was married. And he was from a really religious background. And she just had a really low, she either had a low sex drive or a low sex drive for him. Now you have to remember, guys, the #1 consumers of OnlyFans are white Christian men. So to me, that's saying that this whole waiting thing isn't really working how we thought. So
to do with love, which is what marriage is all about. In our culture, we've gotten lost in the sauce, no pun intended, about what marriage is for and what specifically is meant for. I made the decision that I wasn't going to do that before marriage, as well as not live with my partner. I just seen it end so badly with so many people. I think it makes things messy if the situation gets abused.
And they say you don't need to test drive before you buy it. And I'm like, who wouldn't test drive a car? Like, and this isn't just a car. This is like a car that can literally kill you. Like, this is a car that can fuck you for life. And this is a car that's supposed to, like, think about this. This is a car that's supposed to provide a service, and the service is fucking. And the car salesman is like, you know what? You got to prove you really want this car before you buy it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this car has had other drivers, but we can't let you test drive. Now, you might want to do that, but it's kind of dumb. It's kind of dumb.
Super toxic. It's so much harder to get out of the situation. Self-protection, I think it was important for me to not live with my partner before getting married. Sometimes in society we make so much serious things unserious, and I feel like we need to bring back the seriousness of like some sacred things. I didn't want anything distracting me from really getting to the bottom of who that person was and if I could see a life with them. I feel like for me, not waiting.
Now, by the way, maybe waiting for marriage would work if these women were waiting, but women are not. They're just effing.
Until marriage would have been a distraction, I wouldn't have ended up with the right person. Thank God I did. I think sometimes...
Pearl, ultimately what you're saying is the personality and the internal of the woman is more important than her character. Well, what good is what good is the woman's personality if she's not hot and wanting to get down and not wanting to throw it back? Like, what if she could be a good person, but if she doesn't throw it back, what good is she to you? That's why, it's interesting because I keep hearing about this bloodline thing. And I was thinking, women almost choose betas to give their bloodline or whatever out of necessity. I don't think it's like the flex a lot of these tradcons make it out to be.
This is misconception.
The flex is banging a girl in 30 minutes after meeting her. That's flex. I've seen the PUAs do that. Oh my God. The PUA I had on my show a few weeks ago. I was at a thing in Vegas and I went to one of his boot camps. I just wanted to see. I saw him take home 2 girls in the same day. I was horrified. I didn't think that happened. I was a lot younger. This is like when I first got into
And that people wait because they're trying to go back to like...
Yeah, and the reason Doug says women need to have sex with the guy as soon as possible. Yeah, and that's what I would say. After a certain age, because you have to ask yourself, what's more valuable, your youth, your time, or your purity? And we got to do this thought exercise. I know men like to... Women, don't let these guys lie to you. Don't let them lie to you. There's a lot of women with low body counts that are 50. But they're not signing up for those. Your youth is your most valuable asset. Now, I'm not saying you got to throw it back to anyone. But guys, it's really like, if they're going to ghost you, they're going to ghost you. If you do it on date 3, like the thing is, especially, I know how these like players think. And one, you're not going to outsmart them. You're really not. They've thought through everything. But like basically if you put up too much resistance, they just start selling you boyfriend. They just start like if you need more comfort, that's what they teach the guys, to give the woman more like comfort so she thinks it's more long term in order to get the punani. Yeah, I mean, you just kind of got to wait and see. Do it. And then you can find out if he likes you or not. But most women aren't gonna like tell you this, but yeah, I mean, basically the guys that fall for that I'm more attracted to the woman that make me wait, and they like see the women that make you wait as more virtuous. You guys have to understand the women that make you wait longer see you as more of a sucker. Like that's how I'm the only one that's like being honest with you. Like women, when they like, the PUAs have a term for this. They say she should pull you. You shouldn't pull her. She should pull you, because these guys can build up the attraction so much to the point that the women are pulling the guys home. And you might think, no, that can never happen. These guys are meticulous. I am telling you. They told me how they cheat on their girlfriends. And it was so good. Like, I'm like, ladies, there's no way you could catch them. There's just no way. Like, they have thought through. Like, there's one guy that he was having trouble with, like, the hair women left. So he just bought, like, a 3-bedroom house, and each girlfriend would have a different room he would stay at. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, attraction isn't negotiable. Yeah, I know. But the trads, that's what they, and the things, if women can easily wait till marriage with you, I want you to understand that it's with you. Like it's you. Now, if she's ripping your clothes off and you say, honey, we gotta wait. Okay, I could maybe see that work. Like, that dynamic is at least a little better, but that's not the dynamic I see in churches.
Traditional patriarchal things, and that's like not the reason why I did it. For me, waiting was more empowering than anything else. Now, was there times I thought this was dumb? Absolutely. Was there times I questioned God about the whole thing? Absolutely. Even when I finally got married, I did question, was the pain...
Now, I want to guess if her husband's going to be like traditionally masculine or feminine. I don't know. I'm going to click on the page after.
...of waiting all worth it? Because guys, when you're dating someone you love, it's really rough, and sometimes it does take a toll to wait. But now that I'm officially a year into my marriage, I can say it was 100% worth waiting. Now, let me clarify.
I just don't know, what would the difference be? Like, okay, I know somebody, right? And this person's been married 40 years. And my whole life, this person said, wait till marriage, wait till marriage, wait till marriage. And this person had a 40-year marriage. And I thought that was, they fooled me on this too. And I thought to myself, I was like, well, that has to be the right way. There's all these studies or whatever. And then I found out what this woman did was she got pregnant 3 months after meeting the dude. And I'm like, so really the advice you should have been giving me was to just, get right to it, I guess. Get pregnant. Now, I'm not saying to do that, right? But I was like, damn, I would have been married 5 years ago if you just said, get right to it. I'm kidding, but half kidding. But this is what a lot of the trads do, right? They say, wait till marriage. And you ask, well, what did you do? And none of them waited. And you think to yourself, like, imagine if I had $1 billion company and you were like, well, how did you do it? Can you tell me how to do it? And then you say, well, you got to do it this other way. And you're like, no, tell me how you did. I want to know what you did. And if I saw, the problem is, what happened to me anyways, is if I saw like a traditional relationship, like the people that sign up for this, if I saw a really masculine guy and a feminine woman that seemed really happy, I'd sign up. But instead I get like the Trent Horns, Trent Horn's wife's like mouthing off saying she wants to fuck the pastor instead of him, like on a podcast, And, hold on.
Some things. Waiting till marriage does not mean God's going to fix all your problems. And I absolutely still believe.
Yeah, and it takes the burden of performance off of women because, oh my gosh, you guys don't even get to have like the I want him to marry me sex. Oh, you're going to miss all of that. The best sex you'll ever get is a woman trying to get a ring. And oh my gosh, because we all know women are bad people. I'm thinking about this further. Not all. But I'm thinking about this further. Women, we all know that the worst sex is married sex. And it's because women, like, you being a good guy, like, our attraction to you is basically how much we hate you. That's the unfortunate part. It's not fun as a woman. She'll be like, I hate him, but I want to, So, but basically, guys, what I'm saying, the best sex is the sex before marriage. Every guy gets married and says the sex is terrible. So the guys waiting, they don't even get to experience the best sex. They get the worst sex off the bat. Like they just go right to the worst sex ever. Like the best sex is her, she thinks you have other girls and she's trying to get you away from the other girls. Then the next best sex is she's trying to get a ring. And now you're just skipping all the and the guys, they're opting into this because God, like basically, basically the preachers are coming in are like, we need somebody to marry these whores. Oh, what are we going to do? Guys, you have to wait till marriage because God. Well, the women aren't waiting till marriage. No. God. It's just an L. It's an L. And look, I'm not the most religious person in the world, but part of that comes from I come from a pretty religious background, and I just would see how a lot of these ideas panned out in real life over time. Like, I'll give you an example. In college, these girls would be in situationships for like 3 years. And I was like, they're so dumb. You know, he's never going to settle down with them. That's never going to work. And I really thought, I was like, we'll just leave. Like, he's never going to date you. They're all married and pregnant now. It does work because men do reward loyalty, and they just took shit for a while, and then he did. Like, I always hear these women say, well, if a guy's waiting this long to marry you, he's never going to do it. That's not what I've seen. I've seen the last wedding I went to pulled the trigger after 7 years. Other wedding I went to pulled the trigger after 10 years. Other wedding I went to 4 years. Like, I was like, I don't know. Like, if anything, the people that rush into it, I see them get divorced pretty fast, like within 3 years. Anyways, but yeah, you're basically just, you're saying, let me have the worst sex of my life. Let me opt in.
Even education. We need to be educating ourselves, even if you are waiting. It's ignorant and harmful not to know. If you're someone who's on the fence about waiting till marriage, I'd encourage you to pray about it, think about it. It could be a really beautiful thing when you find the right person. I'll say waiting until marriage really kept me from a lot of toxic situations that I could have been left in. It allowed me to get out way quicker than I probably could have if I didn't do otherwise. So it's super vulnerable for me to share. Please be nice in the comment section.
All right, let's see if she has. Let's see the. Oh my gosh. So let me get this straight. Her top thing. Do you see what I mean? Like, this is the trad girl that waited till marriage. No. I can't. Okay, here's the husband. Let's see who signed up.
This is going to be the biggest test of our marriage, and no matter what happens, we have to know it's us.
Let's see. We got to decide alpha or beta in the chat. We got to do the poll. Enemy.
No matter the result of this, I will always love you.
Taxman, come to the door. Now the house look like a rummage sale.
This is going to be the biggest test of our marriage.
Let's see. I mean, he's already a super simp because his girls all... Yeah. Half of these are just marketing for the next guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's like... Because basically, if the religious people, they're trying to say this works. And what they'll always do is they'll cite some studies, right? But at some point, the studies, and I've cited some of these studies. It's a little bit embarrassing now. I've cited some of these studies, but like at some point, I have to see it play out in real life. Like I have to be like, oh, if I look at the people that did it, their marriages look like super different. Like super, and I see them look worse, if I'm being honest. Like at least the guy in the beginning
got... It's amazing to me. How much?
Oh shoot! At least the guy in the beginning got that like toxic sex first, you know.
Controversy.
The guys, these poor men don't even get to experience it. They don't even know what genuine desire is. They never get it because you're starting the relationship. Women, it's like if we want to bang you, you got to make us insecure and you got to get rid of the comfort. And so, but you're starting the whole thing and just putting all the comfort up front. She doesn't have to work for it. Not even gluck, you know.
Types of videos get whenever we post about it.
Yeah, this is the typical. Yeah, okay. So this is they waited till marriage. She's got a nose ring, hoop earrings, and looks dead inside. And he also looks miserable. Does that look like a happily married guy?
So I think that we should talk about it. For context, Jacob and I have been married for 3 years, and we did wait to have sex until marriage, and we also waited to kiss until marriage.
Oh my God. They waited to kiss.
It's something that we really felt convicted by God to do as Christians, and we wanted to honor.
Do you see the humiliation in his eyes while his wife puts their sex life on the internet? Like, do you see how humiliating that is?
God in our relationship, and it ended up being like one of the best things we've ever done. I can speak from
what, and I'm serious. What would be, because I'm thinking of this couple that's been married 40 years. They had sex, they got pregnant, and then they got married. What is the difference? Like, to me, I'm like, and then the worst part is these women will virtue signal to me like they're somehow better. And I'm thinking, I'm like, how are you better than the couple that just started banging in high school and stayed together for life? Like, what is the difference? Pearl, listening to you woke me the F up. You pimped me back to life. Can't thank you enough. Much love to you. Thank you, K Casino. I appreciate it. Yeah, okay, let me continue.
Myself personally, that I've never been with anyone before besides Jacob, so my only experience has been with him. So
Your simp husband might believe that, honey, but I don't. Nope.
So there's no comparison or idea that I have of what it would be like to be with someone else.
I'm coming from the other side of this conversation. So before I met Taylor, before I gave my life to Jesus.
Yeah, I hear the same, like, kind of simpiness in the voice. Unfortunately, but it's not like a deep, you know.
I did not wait until marriage. So I have test driven the car and done all of those things. And I can just say and testify.
I mean, that's at least better. Like, he at least was effing around too.
In my own life, that it's a complete lie. So everything I ever experienced before Taylor, where I didn't have an emotional connection, I was in an unhealthy place. I was just focused on the physical gratification. The connection that I would have.
How gay does he sound right now? This sounds gay.
Or lack thereof was so minimal and not even comparable to what I now have with Taylor. Our sexual connection is far beyond anything I ever could have experienced outside the context of marriage. So I can actually testify against those comments because I've lived that out. And I'm telling you that one way is completely empty, but God's way is so fulfilling.
And without going into too much detail, we also get a lot of comments of people saying like, oh, their wedding night sucked, or their honeymoon isn't going to be good. And we just want to come against that because that definitely was not the case for us at all. I think because Jacob and I were such good friends and had such a good foundation of like...
we were friends first. He's cooked. He's done.
Love and commitment to one another.
You can also tell who runs the relationship by who talks first. Does she look to him to talk, or does she talk? And if she starts, she usually runs it. The best position to be in is the good luck Chuck position. Seeing a girl I had a few month fling with in a new long-term relationship, knowing he's not getting anything proprietary, is so satisfyingly funny.
Before our wedding night, it just made it so special.
Yeah, and I think the world's interpretation is that in order to be good at sex, you have to give way to perversion, and that's a total lie. You don't have to engage in sexual acts with other people in order to learn how to.
The ladies in the chat know that's not true. Not for guys. Let's come on, guys.
Be good at sex. What about
now? I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, right? I'm not saying waiting till marriage. Like, you could argue that it's morally right if you believe in the Bible, right, according to your religion. I'm arguing it doesn't work in 2025. That's what I'm arguing. I'm arguing you can't pray these hoes back into marriage. You just can't.
Concept of entering into it with somebody, communicating with them through love, and doing things for each other. Not for the selfish gratification of yourself, but actually for the love and the sake of the other person. That's what it's supposed to be about. And you can never experience what that is.
Okay. How old is she? I think she looks late 20s to me. Oh, she doesn't have age. Let's look at the Let's see if at least she's covered up. Please, God, this last one killed me. Okay, this is a little better than the last one. I have a little bit more hope. Not really, but... Are we going to label him a Chad guy? He is pretty tall. He is pretty tall. Are we going to...
Okay.
All right, put in the comments if you think he's a alpha or a beta. You guys get to pick. Alpha or beta. Put it in the comments. The men. All right, let's see who's next. Oh, this guy again. All right, and so when you guys call in,
so me and my husband waited for marriage.
I want to know what you guys have seen and experienced, and I'm gonna tell you guys a couple of my experiences of what I've seen in a lot of these like religious backgrounds.
And girl, I do not regret it. I'm gonna take you on a little story time, okay? He had been saved since he was 4. I had been walling out in the trenches of the world. He had been a virgin his whole life. I had been far from, okay? That's where we're starting. We got together when I had been saved for about a year, and he had been single.
She's gonna ruin his life. That's a recipe for disaster.
For about 10. I had been single for about 3 minutes. It wasn't 3 minutes. It was longer than that. I had a single season with Jesus, but it wasn't very long, okay? And so when we got together, the Lord had to put his hand so graciously on our relationship and give us strength because your girl was not so fond of patience, you know? From the time we started dating until the time we got married was literally less than 6 months. The Bible says, rather you marry than burn with lust, and we said, say no more. But for real, we both had confirmation from the Lord that we were going to get married. We knew very early on, a week into our relationship, that we were going to be husband and wife. So we start dating. We start loving each other.
Because remember, a lot of times women, when they're dating you, they don't know if they want you or the kid or you or the wedding. And that's why the guys that are getting sex for free, they really know that the girl likes them because they're not giving shit in return. Why are you preaching people to not wait till marriage? That's ungodly of you. Let me guess, Elizabeth, you're going to try to sell me that you're a virgin. Right.
Like more than I can tell you I've ever loved anything or anyone in my life.
The women are going to hate this because I'm spilling the game here. I'm spilling the game. Marriage, marriage is a way for women to get a beta to bail them out. And then she can ruin your life later. Remember how this worked out for Crowder? That's the other thing. All these guys that touted this stuff, they keep ending up in these super simp marriages or getting divorced.
Second to Jesus. And I was obsessed. I am still obsessed with this man. The thoughts, the look of this man sent me to Mars. And you're probably going to experience this. It was very hard for us to practice self-control. Now, did we wait? We did. We absolutely did wait for marriage. And my goodness, I cannot tell you the difference between you know what in the world and you know what in the kingdom.
It just doesn't make sense. I don't believe there's a big difference because you guys took vows. The vows don't even mean anything. Women are leaving after like 7 years. You know what I mean? Like if you said to me, waiting till marriage is super different. And I saw really different results, right? And I looked at the couples and I said, wow, they're going to make it. But you guys keep putting out these ex-hoes.
You think you've experienced you know what, but you haven't. You've experienced sin and sin alone, and that ain't the same. But we did mess up. We were doing and feeling and touching other things that we should not been doing, feeling, and touching. And I want to tell you and just...
She was glucking. She's a mid. That's how she got the ring. Boom. Case closed.
Be honest with you about our story so that...
Marriage is just a made-up thing like taxes, passports, countries, borders. I don't know. I'm starting to think... The longer I'm alive, the more I think it was made up by women. Because it's just such a great get out of jail free card where you don't have to do anything. Oh, the only burden of performance is to be young, cute, and not even young anymore, to be cute and not have sex. That's way harder than like not nagging or being likable. All you have to do All you have to do is not have sex.
You cannot make the same mistakes because I wish you would have saved.
Guys, trust. There are women that wait until marriage. How old are you, Elizabeth? Give me your age. Give me your age. Give me your age. Are you going to call in? I better see you on the Zoom.
Every little thing. I wish we wouldn't have slept in the bed together before marriage. I wish we wouldn't have been, you know what, before marriage. I wish we wouldn't have made out before marriage. Now knowing how sweet it is when you wait and how blessed it is when you wait, I wish we would have saved everything. I'm so for real. I probably would have waited to kiss until marriage. Now knowing how blessed it is when you do, I would have wanted to experience everything to that kind of fullness. But when we got married.
All right. So Elizabeth is 19, almost 20, and she expects me to believe. Let me get this straight. So, all right. The average girl loses her virginity at 16. And you, some girls as early as 14, you start to get a sex drive. So 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You had 6 years of having a healthy sex drive, especially when you're young. I mean, these young women are fucking anything these days. And you're expecting me to believe that you never got fingered, you never backdoor blew. I'm not as dumb as your simps, okay? I'm not. And you can tell me that, but women are deceitful. And I've had a lot of women on the show tell me they were virgins. And I'm tired. I'm exhausted.
Let me tell you, there's nothing like it on the face of the earth. It is literally a picture.
Yes, self-control is key. Yeah, like women have self-control.
Of Christ uniting the bridegroom with the bride.
And let me get this straight. I want to add to that. So let me get this straight. On top of that, you have a phone and you have an iPhone and you have a dating app that can get you 1,000 matches in a day. And you could put the pin in a different city and have a guy that it could be completely anonymous. You'd never see him again. And you expect me to believe that in 6 years, you never did that. Sure. All right. Okay. Yeah, I did have faith until I started talking to women. That's so true. That's so true. Yeah. I started, I won't even lie to you guys, because I could give you a background of my faith stuff. But I was pretty I went to Catholic church probably till I was 23. And I was in and out until my mid-20s, I would say. But, oh my God. Yeah, these women, they definitely made me lose faith. They really did. Oh, I have a man, dating apps. Okay, Elizabeth, then why aren't you married? It doesn't go to the courthouse. Go now. This is what the trad women do. If you were traditional, you would just get married. You would. If you really you would just get right to it. There's no reason to wait. If you're waiting till marriage, go to the courthouse and get married, but they never do. There's always, oh, I need to finish school. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to do that. Go get married. How convenient. How convenient. Yeah. All right. Who we got next?
Okay, so I never talk about this stuff on my TikTok. I want to see if anyone can relate to this. But why is it that every time I tell someone I'm waiting until marriage, I always get, oh, you don't want to test drive the...
Don't I have to get to know the person first? No. Because women are so good about not sleeping with someone in their immediate social circle. Women are so good at it. So, okay, we could have a woman that has a reputation for not sleeping with anyone at the college, but she'll just move the dating app to the city or meet a guy through Instagram. Guys, she could have a good, or she goes on a vacation and glucks. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, she can, the only people dumb enough to buy Purity are betas. Because the alphas have banged these girls. They have. Betas buy Purity. If you met your husband at like 15, I'll believe you. Maybe.
Car before buying it, or girl, there's like weirdos out there. Like, they're like, don't you want to know what he's... Girl, I don't know about you guys, but like, how much more attractive is a man who not only respects your boundary, but...
Yeah, okay, so women try to sell you guys on this. Oh, we like men that respect our boundaries, but our number one book is 50 Shades of Grey, which is BDSM.
Has the same boundary, who's willing to wait for you and to love you and choose you for you, not for what you can give them physically. It's giving, I want you to be the father of my kids. You know what I mean? Like, ladies, I don't know about you, but we live in a world where there's like nasty people.
And why is this woman in my chat trying to sell Purity to me? Because she's already got a guy, right? So but the problem is, now that I'm telling, right, she's going to be mad because the next guy she's got to sell Purity to. Yeah, I mean, fine. You guys can believe it.
People out there who just objectify women and just hookup culture, it really terrifies me, and it's so disgusting. And like, why wouldn't I want to wait until marriage?
But I don't think it makes her a bad person if she's like, she's a normal person with a sex drive. Sex is a need for men and for women. You said there's good people. But I don't think it does anything really to do with her personhood, what she does in her bedroom. I don't care. But yeah, like the selling Purity, it's just not going to work on me. Go find a simp, please.
It's so reassuring too. Like, why wouldn't you want someone who has enough self-control?
Why do these women like men who obey boundaries the women sets for them?
In that sense, why not? Why wouldn't you want to wait until marriage? You know what I mean? It's like, do you not want something good for you? Like, I don't know. I wish I had the right words to explain. It just makes sense to me.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Who we got next?
Waiting until marriage.
Yeah. And the thing is, you'll notice these women, none of them are beautiful. They're always mid. And remember, mids are less pure than beautiful women because mids have to compete. Beautiful women can do less and get more. Like, when you're a beautiful woman, a guy will wait like 6 months and pay for your entire existence just because you're beautiful. If you're a mid, you got like 2 dates, chica. 1.5 if you're 32. So anyways, you'll notice a lot of these women are mids.
Decisions I've ever made. I've not always waited until marriage to have sex. Before my husband and before dating my husband, I didn't believe in it. Even though I was a Christian, even though I gave my life to Christ, it wasn't something that clicked in my head yet. Before meeting my husband, I was in a relationship with someone that was Christian, and that actually helped me find the Lord. But the thing is, we were not waiting for marriage. We were very much fornicating, having sex, and that was something that I didn't feel was bad until I felt that conviction from the Lord. There's a lot that happened that I won't be sharing today that led me to the point of that conviction, but I felt that and that person didn't, and I think that's what led us to break up. After that relationship.
May I ask why young people shouldn't wait till marriage? I'm not against young people trying, but girls are starting young, all right? I mean, even a guy that waits till marriage, he's probably banged someone else in the high school. I'm just being honest here.
I was so broken that the only thing left for me to do was to just fully give myself to Jesus and fully commit myself to him.
Okay, ex-ho. I don't care. Okay, who's next? I wanted to talk about, I made a list of people I met, and don't show it, but so when I look at the people that I know that waited till marriage to have sex, So I know one woman that I think it worked out for, and I didn't think her husband was a super simp. I know one. But guess what, ladies? She went to college, and she was on a mission. She went into the Catholic dorm, and she was getting that ring. And she graduated. You can do it, but you got to be cashed out by like 21. I do think she got finger blasted like once or twice, so I don't know if you count it, but that's the closest I've. Now, really though, what I've seen in churches, the dynamic is like this. Usually there's one or two chads that are like athletes, entertainers, football, whatever it is. And they'll just pick the hottest, hot first, most feminine second women in the church. So they'll pick like one or two and get married. Again, by 21, 22, they're done. Sometimes you have the mid that pulls it off, but she's got to be like super feminine, and even that may not be enough. And then the other guys really just fight over the leftovers. That's what I've seen. And the girl's like, fine. Then you get the weird girl. So I was in this like Protestant church for a couple of years, and I went on this retreat that made me leave. And it was because, and they're nice enough, but it was like these late 20s to mid 30s women that were just super single. And I was like, I'm going to die alone in this church. And in this church, basically these women, they don't submit to their husbands. They submit to the pastor. Because let's say she's dating a guy. Does she ask his opinion? No. She asks the pastor's opinion. And then what do the women do? They love correcting the husband by thumping a Bible over their head and telling them they're not holy enough. Like I met this 30-year-old virgin at a wedding once, and she allegedly was a virgin, and she told me that this guy wasn't holy enough because he tried to have sex with her. And I thought about it, and I'm like, do you understand men at all? They're they want to have sex all the time. They're horny guys. The other problem you get in these churches and these very religious people, they're very sexually stunted. Again, back in the day when they did arranged marriages and they did the waiting till marriage thing, they got it done. They had a solution to people's sex drives by the time they were like 18 years old, I'll say, because I don't want them coming for me. And so they would have to wait, but they'd have to wait like a year. It's pretty weird to spend like your whole life sexless. And that's really what they're asking men, not women, to do. They're saying, spend your whole life sexless, because men don't really become attractive to women till like 30, 35. And even then, like these women aren't really wanting to get married, guys. So you also get the ex-hoes that humiliate their husbands by giving speeches about all the dick they took in the past. These women are like sharks in the water. And then you get the weird homeschooled kids who are not very social and just act weird because of like a weird form of autism is what it was described as. Not that they all have it, but it's almost like they behave. And that's really what you get in these churches. And I think they're all really weird because you're like stunting a person's sexuality. And that problem used to be taken care of when they did arranged marriages. But like, it's not natural for people to be waiting till they're 30. Elizabeth, if you found your right one, you'd be married. You're gonna move on and do better. I'm sure you will. And I wish you luck in your hypergamous future. Okay, everyone. So call in. We're gonna put the link in the chat. And I want to know your thoughts on this topic. Would you recommend somebody waits till marriage in 2025? Recommend somebody waits till marriage in 2025. Recommend somebody wait. What is the... And by the way, guys, I came into this wanting to believe this. I wanted this to be true. But, reality sets in. You start to see these couples getting divorced that waited. You get to see these super simping. And I don't see that it works in 2025. Most of the people I know, like the happiest couples, they really had sex immediately, pretty fast. Women, you would recommend, of course you would, it benefits you because you don't have a burden of performance. Like I had a PUA, I was reading his field report, and he talked about how he had sex with a girl and then he ghosted her because she wouldn't stop talking during a movie. That's the burden of performance. The husbands have to just listen to it. Do you see what I mean? It's like a raw deal. The player just says, get out. And then you get to deal with her bullshit. Where the husband, or where the player, the husband has to deal with the whole movie. She just talking. I was reading that field report. I love a movie commentary. I think I'd get ghosted. All right, we're going to do a call-in. So, is Doug MPA on the line?
I am here.
Oh, Doug MPA. All right, so, and this is, I want to know 3 things from you guys. I want to know if you would recommend it, and what you have seen work and not work. Please don't tell me your religion. I just don't care. Please don't tell me your Bible verses. It's really nice, but look, I'm asking what works. Go ahead, Doug MPA.
Okay, first off, Elizabeth in the chat, if you don't call in, I'm timing you out. You're going to be timed out for 24 hours because you've been talking all this garbage, getting the chat all riled up. I've been letting you go because I said call in. If you don't call in the next 10 minutes, I'm timing you out because you are getting a little too hot in the chat. You have the opportunity to call in. You're asking if Pearl is going to get married, have kids. Why don't you call in and say it to her face? You got 10 minutes. Okay, so I think that if you're pretty much like 19, 20, 21, and like the guy and the girl's a virgin, I mean, I guess, but like you said, oh yeah, of course she is. So now you're going to be in timeout.
Of course she can. So she can, let me get this straight. She can do it. She wants me to believe she's okay. Dude, this is what I mean. These virgins, man, they're so disagreeable. They're like, I'm a virgin. Well, then why don't you scream purity? Because if you were pure, you wouldn't be bitching at me in the chat. Sorry. Do you know what I mean? It's like, why don't your actions match? This is what they just say. Believe me, Pearl. Believe me. I said it. Believe me. Screw you.
I know.
And I don't even give me the benefit of the doubt on this show. I say, guys, don't believe me. It's fine. Like, assume the worst. I'm not going to shame somebody for not giving me the benefit of the doubt when you're a stranger. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, someone in the chat said, Pearl, why would you tell women to not be virgins or young people? Guys, here's the thing. If you meet a woman who's gotten to 30 and she's a virgin, she's crazy.
Yeah.
If you meet a guy who's 30 and he's a virgin, he's an incel. I don't normally like that term, but there is a such thing. It's just been overblown. And then also, ladies, a man will not audit you to see if he wants a relationship with you until sex happens. Men get to know you 2 ways. 1, to have sex with you. 2, to see if he wants you around. And Pearl and I, we keep going back and forth about, in this day and age, guys, and you shouldn't look at a woman sleeping with you on the first date as her automatically being a whore, because you want to be the guy she sleeps with on the first date.
Yeah, it's like the guy. It's like,
wait?
Sometimes guys want to be betas so bad. They're like, oh, she slept with me on a first date. I'm like, Did you not want that? You know, like,
Yeah.
You can see if she made an exception for you, like by how invested she is. Like if she ghosts after, it's not a big deal to her.
Yeah.
If she's in love with you, if she's in love with you after, she could do it often, but maybe you're awesome, or you know what I'm saying. Like then you have to vet based on her behavior. But I'm like, it depends who you are to her. Go ahead, Doug. Sorry.
Yeah. The only story I knew. So I had a friend when I was younger, and this girl. This is when we were really young. I was like fresh out of high school. I think I was 20 to like 19, and one of my friends was 2 years older than me, and he met this girl, and she was in a relationship all through high school for 4 years. Then she broke up with her boyfriend, and then he knew this girl for 6 months and married her so they can have sex, right? And they were together for like 12 years and had 2 kids, but they ended up getting divorced. And that was the only circumstance where I knew a guy that slept with a woman who waited for marriage, but they got married after 6 months.
And
Pearly
okay, wait. Did it work out for him or no?
No, they got divorced after like 10 years and 2 kids.
Doug, I wanna do an oldie but a goodie video. I found it. Can I pull it up? Do you care? Really?
What is it now?
I want to do my your virginity doesn't count video. Do you remember that? I found it.
Okay.
Okay, here I'm gonna play it.
Hello class, welcome to the Just Pearly Things YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be doing a lesson as usual, but before I start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. That way you're going to be notified of my daily videos. Today, I have my lovely student, Jess.
What's up?
This is Red Pill 101.
Okay.
So today we're going to talk about virginity.
I remember this.
So what do you know about virginity?
A lot.
Okay, let me get to the...
I'll give you an example. Number 1. You're a whale. Now, whales are a beautiful, majestic creature.
The internet. No!
Men aren't lining up to date fat chicks. A dude will take an OnlyFans model with 100 bodies before he takes a fat chick. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
It just is what it is. You have to be a certain level of good looking to get in the club. Number 2.
How can you hate from outside the club? You can't even get in.
You're ugly. Your virginity doesn't count if you're ugly because, again, blessing. If your girl's face looks like it was smashed in with a baseball bat, but she's a virgin, or you get a girl that's pretty hot, but, you know, like 10, 20 bodies. And that's what I'm saying. Your virginity, it's valuable, but it's not valuable if you're a whale or you're ugly. Nobody's lining up to date ugly fat chicks. I don't make the rules.
Yeah.
And so a lot of girls will be like, I'm a virgin. And it's like, great, ma'am, but no one's trying to mess with you. No one's trying to mess with you. So it's like, okay, yeah, you turned down losers that were trying to screw you, but like, yeah. So anyway, point number 3, your virginity doesn't count. Oh yeah, I forgot. You're old. Okay. Now,
we gotta bring the whiteboard back,
right?
I have it. It's over there.
Security. But if you're over 21,
a terrorist with the whiteboard.
Let's see what else.
Well, yeah, which goes back to point number 1 and 2. You're lying, or you're too picky. Because let me think. You've been in the game since you were 16, 18, and you're telling me not one guy could live up to your standards. Too picky. Or something is wrong with you mentally. Now, a lot of virgins get this I'm better than everyone attitude, where they just think they're God's gift to the earth because they have, and...
Okay. You get the idea. What did you think of that?
I remember old school Pearl, man. I remember, can we still call women whales on this channel, or is that a no-go? You didn't tell any lies in that video at all. I'm telling you.
What was the last one? I'm trying to skip through it. Oh, if you're selfish and argumentative. If you're a bitch, basically, your virginity doesn't count. But yeah, these are the 4. So your virginity doesn't count if you're ugly, you're a whale, you're old, or you're selfish or argumentative. It doesn't count. So yeah, this woman was like in the chat, she was like, I'm a virgin. But I'm like, well, does it count if you're arguing all the time?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. So have you ever seen it work to people waiting for marriage? Because you're in your 40s?
Yeah. I had a woman who I met that was in her late 50s. Her and her husband, they grew up in Alaska, and they had sex when he was 16, she was 15. She got pregnant, and they were married for almost 50 years when I met him.
Okay. Anyone else?
That was the only one. Nope.
Damn.
That was it.
Damn. Yeah, like it seems like it only works if like they're super young. If a woman has a child by a man and then is in a relationship for 7 months with him and having sex, then she waits until if a woman has a child by a man and then is in a relationship for 7 months with him and having sex, then says she wants to wait till marriage, is it right? Oh my gosh, no, that would happen. Doug, MPA. Because we would do at my high school, there was like these chastity speakers. And they would send out, and it would always be the same story. Some girl got ran through and then waited. And the guys would be like, no, we're not sending the girls to no, the chastity speakers in town, the girls like might not want to have sex anymore.
Yeah, I had I've met liberal women who try to do this thing. They say, well, every so often a woman wants to stop having sex so she can regain her energy and realign her something or whatever. I've had a girl try to use that on me before, where we had sex, for the first couple of months, and then for some reason with her chakras and her energy, she wanted to stop having sex. I'm like, what? I'm out of here. See you later.
The other thing, you're teaching women to weaponize sex to get what they want. So, like, you don't get to have sex with me unless you commit to me forever. It's kind of entitled in a way.
Yeah, that's why. And it's funny because a lot of these women know that sex is all they have. It's like Brittany Renner. Brittany Renner wanted a man that could have sex with all the women in the world to just have sex with her and beg her for sex.
So low calbrow, whales, pigs, bison. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you guys. Eskimo, P, Ugh, hi guys. Thank you. I appreciate the super. Can you tell them the story about the girl you dated that was in the church? If you don't mind, you don't have to, but.
Wait, the girl that I dated, huh?
You told me that she was really religious and she like regretted it because it messed up her life.
Oh yeah. So I met this girl, and she was a black girl, and most of the time I stay away from the B-dubs, but she was, she was really, really nerdy, really bubbly, and she liked K-pop. Anyway, so I met her. She was 33 years old, and when she moved off to college, her first day of college, her second day on campus, she met this super religious group. I'm talking like Jesus is coming any day group, and she just latched on to that. And from 20 to like 32, she was all about, proselytizing. Jesus is coming every day, blah, 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 right? And then she finally woke up and was like, I'm wasting my life in this because, he hasn't come in the last 12 years or whatever. So before she met me, she lost her virginity. She met this guy on OkCupid and slept with the guy that she met online for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ghosted her afterwards. I was like, no way. She's like, yeah. And she regretted that whole time because she's like, I let that be the focal point of my life, and I missed out on all these opportunities, and now I don't know what to do.
And Doug, MPA, would you say you could get married again? Would you say you were open to it?
Yeah, I'm open to it.
So if a woman came to you and said that she was open to it, but she wants to wait till marriage, would her chance of, what would be her odds of landing you?
She's gone.
Yeah, and I'm the only one that's going to be honest about this, guys. I mean, you might get a young guy on that, but the guys that hit 30, they wise up and they abandon it. I'm telling you, all of them.
Once you hit your 40s, if she doesn't sleep with you on the first or second date, guys, there's no point. So, but all right, guys, make sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. We are 20,000 past the 2 million mark. We're on our way to 3 million. So share the video, please. And we have a full line of calls. So we're going to give you 4 minutes or less to make your point.
The bride. It is the most beautiful act of worship. It is selfless. It is peaceful. It is pure. It is innocent. It is.
Oh, is that me? Sorry, I thought that was you. Sorry. Oh, it was one of the TikToks started playing again. Okay, I turned my sound off, so.
Okay. So up first we have Melissa. Melissa's coming on. Melissa is connecting to audio. Thank you for everyone in the YouTube. Always good to see you. And thank you for everyone on the Audacity chat. Always good to see you guys. Make sure to go over to Pearl's website. It's $9.99 a month to participate in the Audacity chat. Melissa, are you there? She's probably watching YouTube, so she's like 10 seconds behind. Melissa, are you there?
Actually, it's not Melissa. This is my wife's computer. So.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
How's it going, Pearl? Thanks for having me.
Can you tell me what part of the country you're in and your age?
38 in Texas.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on the topic? Do you recommend people wait for marriage? Have you seen it work? Have you seen it not work?
Oh, yeah. I think... hold on. My daughter is...
Okay. You got 4 seconds.
Just give me 10 seconds.
I like it when a girl sleeps with me on the 800th date. Get me in, Pearl. I'm waiting.
I'll bring you back up in a second. Okay, we're going to have... up next, we have Akil is joining. Make sure to read that super chat, Pearly.
Which, the last one? I thought I read it, no?
Oh, did you?
I like it when a girl sleeps with me on the 800th date. I read that.
Okay, cool. All right, Akil, are you there?
Yes.
Akil, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Are you in India?
No, I'm an Indian, but I live in Canada right now.
Okay, cool. What are your thoughts on the topic, waiting for marriage?
Well, it depends on the culture. You see, if you're from a conservative culture, it's an obligation. Mm-hmm. But if you're rich, it's kind of optional for you.
Okay.
And if you have like peer pressure, then it's better not to wait, because then they'll call you a loser and stuff. And if satisfying your peers is part of your survival, then you don't have an option there, right?
So, what have you seen? Are you friends with mostly like people from like part of the Indian culture or no?
Yeah, I do have a friend from the Indian culture and also from...
And are they... I'm just curious if you see them waiting for marriage and if you see their marriages working out. Go ahead.
5 years back, they used to wait a lot, but not today. Not at all.
Dang, it's cooked even in India, huh?
Yes.
What changed? Was it feminism in India?
Feminism for sure, and the peer pressure. Mm-hmm. Like, if this guy is doing it, I also got to do as well, something like that.
Do you see women sharing men a lot there, like going for the same guys?
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Have you seen, there's like something going around on Twitter that's saying like Indian women will date white guys in their 20s and then go back to the Indian guys after. Do you see that?
Oh, yes, that's happening a lot. What about it?
Oh, I was just wondering if you've seen it because it's going viral on Twitter right now.
Is Indian culture xenophobic like that, where they only want you to have kids with another Indian or something?
No, it's nothing like that. But I think, the Indian women, they have pressure from their parents to marry among the Indian culture or something like that. So, yeah, so that's why you always see them going back to, I think, maybe that's one of the reasons. I don't really know.
And are you
But,
are you married yourself?
No, I'm single.
Okay.
Have you ever been married?
No.
Okay.
I'm 30 years old. And
All right. Well, thanks for calling in. Okay, call in anytime.
Oh yeah, I have one more thing to ask. Like, I applied for the, Clippers job with you.
Oh, Doug MP, can you remind me to go over that at the end of the show?
Yeah, I will.
Not now, but I'll go over it later.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Let me make a note of that real fast. 1 second. Go over clips. Over clips. Okay. The end of show. Okay, we're gonna try and bring up the guy, the artist formerly known as Melissa. Hopefully he has his kid and under control here. All right, the guy that's on Melissa's account, you're back.
Colton says, no simp, new buses come every 15 minutes, fellas. Nice, Colton.
Go ahead. The guy that's on Melissa's account, go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, right.
What's your name, age, relationship status? You said you're in Texas, right?
Yes. Just hold on a sec.
Are you listening to the YouTube or are you on Zoom?
No, I'm on Zoom. But I was on YouTube YouTube listening, and it was echoing, so I had to cancel out.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, I think it's, and when I speak, I speak more for young people.
Mm-hmm.
I can agree that for older people, like if you're talking about 30 and above, it can be a little different. But usually when I speak about myself, my wife, and our experience and our testimony on this specific topic, we like to speak more to younger people. And for me and my wife, we did it exactly as a lot of people dream to do it, but they don't seem to go forward with it. Me and my wife were from Europe, and we met when we were kids. We became really good friends. Kids, when I say I was 14, she was 10, and we became good friends. And then I came to the States. She was, of course, young, 10 years old. She stayed in Portugal with her parents, and I came to the States, had my childhood, the rest of my childhood until adulthood here in the States. And 10 years later, we started talking through Facebook, and we came together and then got married.
So
both of us got married as a virgin.
So how old were you when you guys got married?
So I was 29, she was 24, and we were both virgins.
Okay, so when did you guys start dating?
2011.
No, like how old was she when you started, like when she came to America?
When we started dating, she was 20.
Okay,
or
but you
20,
couldn't.
2021.
Yeah, but you couldn't verify that she was a virgin if she was in another country.
No, of course not. But you ask, right? You have that conversation.
Yeah, but like it kind of goes back to you just like it's just believe her because she said. Like, how would you even know the difference if you weren't like, if you'd only had sex with her, how would you even know the difference between a girl that's a virgin and not? Like, I've seen women pull that on Christian.
I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor to go in there and verify if she's really a virgin.
Yeah.
But I believe in her honesty. I mean, we're both Christian, and her family, I know her parents really well. They've known me also since I was a little boy.
You believe in a woman's honesty? I don't.
Well, I would agree with you, Pearl, that most women, in 2025 are not honest when it comes to their sexuality. Now, me knowing my wife, because we were friends as little, and knowing her parents, knowing her family, yes, of course, I truly believe that she was a virgin.
Well, you met on Facebook, right? Like that's how you reconnected.
We reconnected through Facebook. Yeah, and she was studying at the moment. She's studying Chinese medicine, and she told me, "Look, I dated in high school. It was like like a 2-week kind of thing. It was nothing." And then after that, she told me that she wanted to focus, and her parents wanted her to focus in her finishing college, and that was her focus. She told me, "This is my focus for me to
but women
focus on myself."
Say things, right? Like that's
sure. I mean, I understand.
You have to understand. I do this for a living, so people call in. And whenever like a guy will say he found a virgin, she always conveniently comes from another state or country. Like I'm telling, it's like almost unanimously. Yeah.
But I'm also from Portugal. We're both from Portugal. It's not like,
So you know every guy in Portugal to ask if she did anything with them? Like, come on.
No. You're right. I don't know every girl in Portugal, but I know her enough to believe her. It's not like I met her and then we kind of like liked each other, and I never met her, never talked to her before that, and then we decided to date and then get married. No, I knew her before, and I knew her family before even. I mean, when we were kids, like I said, she was 10 years old and I was 14. We were just friends, just kids. And I knew her parents, her mom. She's all her families, they're Christian based.
Did she live at home or did she live on campus?
No, she lived at home with mom and dad.
Well, that makes it.
And her mom was also a virgin when she got married, and her dad was also a virgin when she got married. So,
I mean, it sounds nice, but sorry, you might buy it.
It sounds too good to be true, right?
No, you have to understand. Again, it's all like I've just heard this so many times, where every guy if you were in the same country the whole time, I could say, okay, sure. But like, to me, it's pretty implausible that you were the only guy she was messaging with on, like, if she messaged you, she's probably messaging other guys too. And a strategy that women do if they want to maintain purity is they tend to go out of country or out of state, because then it doesn't get back to where they're from. So, I hope it was, but you can tell me how it turned out. But you have to forgive me. I have a tough time. Go ahead.
2025.
What?
I understand where you're coming from. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from, because looking at how women and young adults, let's just say that, how they are in 2025, I understand your point. And it can be hard to believe, but like I said before, I knew who she was even as a child. Now, I wasn't there. After 10 years went by, I wasn't there to see who she dated, who she messed around with. I wasn't there. but I know her parents, and you know, I know that she would follow as a Christian daughter of, you know, I know that she respects her parents a lot, and so much that she would follow their steps. And to this day, I mean, we've been together for 14 years, and I can see why she would wait, because she's not the kind of person to be jumping around, messing around, or
here's
jumping
the thing.
from relationship to relationship.
We have these conversations, though. A lot of guys think that if Pearl questions whether she is actually a virgin or not, that it's saying something to the character of the guy's wife or the integrity of their marriage. And that's not what's going on here. All Pearl is saying is, you know, you just got to take it. I mean, especially here in the United States, you got to take a girl saying that she's a virgin with a grain of salt.
Because the way I'm just going to think about it is she has a normal sex drive that starts at like 15. She was 24, 9 years. You know, other people may believe that. I don't. I'm just being honest.
29 years old, and I was a virgin. Why would anybody believe me? But I know what I did and what I did.
I mean,
you're a dude.
I kind of don't, but you know, that's
exactly.
Thing, man.
So,
you know,
so it is kind of pointless having these conversations if everybody that you talk to, you are automatically going to think that they're lying.
That's
because
not true.
Of how society is.
That's not true. If you had different answers, if you had different answers to the questions, if you had different answers to the questions, I would have been more likely to believe you.
If I had different answers to the
questions?
questions?
You guys are in the same town at least, or like I'd be okay. That's maybe, you know, but different countries. Yeah, come on, like
yeah.
Come on.
Okay.
But
we got a full lineup of callers. We literally have like 7 people waiting.
Oh yeah, that's fine. No, that's fine. Thanks for having me. I just wanted to kind of give.
Look, I wanted to hear a little more from him, Doug MPA. Do you mind?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just had one more question. So,
sure.
But it okay. Let's for all intents and purposes say you guys waited, whatever. It worked out well, I'm guessing, is your conclusion. And did you know other couples that did the same thing? Did it work out the same? Go ahead.
No, I didn't know any couples that went through that and they could have their testimony, you know, out there, and where I heard their testimony and I was like, oh, wow, it is possible. No. But she did. But her parents, she followed her parents. And to this day, she has a sister, and, you know, she's following the same steps. She's following the same steps.
How old's the sister?
Well, I don't want to say.
So she cooked her sister, basically.
Yeah, I don't want to say. But
okay.
In my part, I just you know, I had a really tough past, and so I wasn't the ladies kind of guy anyways, and I focused on playing soccer. My focus was to become a professional soccer player, and that's what I did from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed. That's what I did, and so that was my focus. And then when I was I don't know how to say it, I was open enough to talk to girls and be open with girls. I was already older, and at the time, you know, in high school, I dated a couple of girls, but it was the same thing. It was just like a couple of weeks, and then it's just drama here, drama there, and I would be like, no, I'm not for that. And so I would be like, okay, we can't be together. And then eventually I started talking to my wife on Facebook again after 10 years went by, and it clicked because she was sharing with me views and beliefs that she had that I also had. And I was like, you know, this is amazing. She's a virgin. I'm a virgin. She's waiting. She's focused on one thing. I'm focused on another thing. And also because we're Christians, we you know, I don't want to talk too much about the Bible and Christianity, but we truly believe when Scripture says, you know, it's good for you to wait, and by waiting, you become one with that person. We truly believe that. And so that was exactly what we wanted. And I know that that is a hard thing to do.
Yeah, she cooked her sister, though, giving that advice. Cooked. If she's over 25, she's done. Cooked.
I'm not going to comment on that because I don't want to be putting her sister on live here for, the viewers.
I'm just saying, if she's over 25, she's done. Cooked. Okay, well, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it, all right?
Appreciate it, Pearl.
Yeah.
You have a good one.
Bye. It's just they always come from another country. Always. Like, it's another...
And then, first off, guys married, I don't like having discussions like this with married people. The guy has a wife. He seems like he's winning and happy and stuff. Once again, people like that, they think that you're questioning the integrity of their wife and maybe he made a bad decision. That's not it. It's just, you just don't know.
Yeah, well, it's just, I'm not in, they could have a happy marriage. Maybe she was, but it's just very convenient that he wasn't around for 10 years, Like, I'm like, that's all you have to say is I'm a virgin? And then, guys. Okay, go ahead. Next one.
All right. We have Sarah is coming up. She is in the Audacity chat. She is joining us on the call. What's going on, Sarah?
Not much.
Hey, Sarah. I think I hear it stopped.
Yes, I'm going to put on mute here. Sorry. There's that delay there. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So figured as a mom, I would call in today and
great.
Okay.
Okay, give me your thoughts on the topic. So are you still married?
I am 27 years.
Cool.
So,
and when 27 years ago were people waiting to have sex back then? Was it normal?
No. So they would say
that's how I know you're honest.
Virtuous and all of that, but no. I'll be honest. My husband had a daughter, and I wasn't exactly lily white, but we got married, and we've stayed dedicated to each other for 27 years through, all the ups and the downs, and the crazy and the dry and the deserts, and we've somehow managed to get 2 sons who are now adults and 2 little girls that are in their teens. And it's an interesting, I guess, viewpoint because we've seen what all my sons have been through. My younger one just got through a divorce and met a girl 6 months ago and they're expecting a baby.
Oh, wow.
And, and then there's my older son who's been through just horrible, horrible relationships. And he doesn't believe in love right now, but we try to encourage him to have faith that there is that one person out there that's just, he's going to know, kind of like when his dad walked into my life and I walked into his. I think it's important.
I would have less faith, actually.
Well, I am a little afraid for my girls.
I'll ask you a question, though.
Yes.
Real fast. How did your sons end up having such terrible situations with women? Did they fall into like the stereotypical happy wife, happy life? Men are supposed to bow down to women, Western garbage. What happened?
I'll be honest. I've kind of spoiled them, and so they meet girls, and they're very open and honest. Like, hey, I want somebody that I get to take care of. I want somebody who's going to be there for me. I'd really like it if you stayed home. Very, very conservative views. And the girls are like, yeah, that's what I want. And that's never what they want. My son who got married, she wanted children and, he was like, let's wait. And in the end, she made him out to be just a monster. And come to find out all she wanted was children so that she could leave. And now she's, by herself and out doing her little thing. And he's expecting the baby that he's always wanted with somebody that just thinks that he, is the moon and the sun.
And she's got to be raging. I bet she's so pissed. That makes it better.
Oh, yeah. She's very much. This lady that he's with now does have 2 children from a previous marriage. And she saw them out having breakfast. like a normal family. And I guess she called him and was like, I'm sorry. I wish that I wouldn't have done what I did. And he's like, I've moved on and he's bought a house and he's bought cars and he's living his life and he's moved on. But I am scared for my girls because of the culture, and they are homeschooled, and we've kind of allowed them, I guess, their area to come to terms with, being 12 and 14 years old with, the girls out there doing their thing and the boys out there doing their thing. And I do worry about the future of it, if they're going to meet somebody that's going to treat them nice and be good to them and, I guess, traditional. They're not above working, but they really do want to be a traditional person that, is loving and nurturing and caring and has children and has a good life.
Do you have
And that's just not
anyone?
the culture.
Do you have anyone around there in mind? Like any sons that are? Because I only see that like just my thought process. I don't have kids, obviously, so you're in the field, more than I do. But my thought process is you really are only going to get that if the families help, because if they do it on their own, it's Instagram and dating apps, or I think they use Snapchat, the teens now, whatever.
We don't have any of that. They don't even have a phone.
Yeah, but but at some point, right? Like you can prolong it, but they'll turn 18 and they'll get it,
Yeah, and you gotta ease them into social media, because if you homeschool them without a phone all the way through high school age and they go off to college, they're cooked.
Yeah, we are looking for the 14-year-old to get a phone, but they've watched what their brothers have gone through, and my husband is an extremely conservative guy, very much of, hey, I'm the guy and you're going to listen, and if I tell you that you're not going to do this, then you're not going to do it. And they've listened and heard all of the stories that we've tried to tell them of, look, this has happened to your brothers, this has happened to this person, and they're like, oh, okay. And I don't think that a lot of parents have that, because the atmosphere is just different with peers.
So are your daughters, do they want to get married and have kids young?
I don't know.
You need to ask them.
They do want to have children at a young age, but they're also not above working. But it's not the kind of work that they want to go out and get, the cars and the colleges and things like that. They want to, be babysitters and care for children and be bakers and do music. So right now, I know that they're very sheltered, but
just make sure to watch it, because girls that want to get married, they don't use terms like partner.
Right.
If they start using the word partner, cooked.
Yes, I know.
Honestly, if they start talking about going to like law school or something like that, or getting some kind of degree that nobody cares about, or they want to start taking out student loans, just make sure you listen to their words, because their words will become actions. You know what I'm saying?
Right. One of them has actually mentioned we are Catholic, and they both just made their confirmation, and when asked, hey, have you ever thought about going into becoming a nun? And one of them was like, yeah, I've actually thought about it, but I don't think that that's where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going, but I don't think that's where I'm going, but it's not ruled out. So we just kind of allow them to have kind of their own comfort level. When they ask questions, we tell them. My older one has been out on a date that I hung out with, and I think that annoyed the boy a little bit more than it annoyed my daughter, because he couldn't put moves on my daughter, and because I was standing there. But I think that for my girls and for my boys, I encourage, if they're from a healthy family, of a dad that is definitely the head of the household, and a mom that supports that husband being the head of the household, and children that respect both of their parents and the guidelines that the parents have tried to put forth for them. That those are the kind of people that usually tend to want a good relationship. So That's what we're aiming to get them towards.
So what about what you've seen in the past, like 27 years? Have you seen, like, do you know anybody that's waited till marriage, and did it work out for them?
I knew one person that waited till marriage, and she was very much like my former daughter-in-law who wanted kids so much, and that was her focus, is kids, 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 and it was not on her husband, who eventually just kind of said, okay, I don't want anything to do with either one of you because I feel like an outsider. And that damaged both of them very deeply. She had this child, and the child, I don't know what happened, but he just kind of checked out.
Okay. So
he was like, I'm done.
So she ended up, because I always thought that the people that waited would have so much better results. And as I got, just me personally, as I got older, it just wasn't what I saw. I wish it was.
Yeah.
But
I wish that I had not had the baggage that I did when I met my husband, and he wishes that he didn't, go through the relationship that resulted in his daughter, but we don't regret that we were who we were when we met. We just wanted to do better than we had been doing.
Yeah. Well, it's like,
and we knew instantly that,
you're too,
hey, I'm going to marry you.
Yeah. Well, if you're too afraid to like get in the game, then you'll never, do you know what I mean? Most people don't find anyone if they don't date. And a lot of times I find the people waiting, especially if they're older, they're just checking out of dating. They're like not doing it.
Yeah,
Bro,
I had sworn off men. I was like, I'm not dating anybody. I'm not doing anything.
Would you recommend your daughters wait till marriage?
If I hope that for them, I hope that they can have that one person. And I don't know if it's so much waiting for marriage. It's waiting for that person that you are willing to spend the rest of your life with, and that you don't mind going through hard times with, and you're willing to fight for, and you're willing to argue with, and argue over. As my husband put it the other day, and he goes, I knew I loved you when I was willing to go to jail for you. So I was like, okay.
Did that happen?
He's like, I didn't care if you were going to go throw down with your mom or you're going to throw down with the guy down the street. I was willing to go to jail for you.
Yeah. Well, I would recommend trying to at least put your daughters in situations with guys her age. I mean, maybe they're a little young now, but when they're like 2-3 years, because I don't see the people I've seen that their parents like waited and it worked out, or at least married young. What's smart? I didn't clock this in high school. Can they work at like golf carts or golf girls over the summer? Because a lot of my friends met their husbands by doing that.
Right.
Or in Washington State, if you work at a nice coffee stand, in like an upscale neighborhood, come on now.
We live in Branson right now, so there are so many places here that they could be out and about. But they also do a lot of things through church. We go out a lot. There's not a day that my 14-year-old is going, oh, Mom, that guy is cute. I'm like, I know, I see you. And then, I see the boy across the thing going, I see you too. Okay. Yeah. She's too young for you, Mr. 16-year-old. But they definitely are starting to kind of blossom into, we are going to have to kind of let them start dating at 16. We can't hold them back, but we're also not pushing them. That I see a lot of kids their age being pushed into situations where they're like going, okay, I don't know how I feel, or I'm not ready for this yet. And that's what I meant is, not everybody's ready for PG-14, relationships at 13 or 14. Some of them will be like, well, I'm ready now, and I'm going on 15. And that's okay.
Yeah, it's one thing they don't talk enough about. It's really dependent on the kid. Like I'm one of 10. So, I mean, I have siblings that at 15, they were ready to date. And I have ones that weren't ready to date till 20. Like it was, so.
Yeah. But my younger one, she's a lioness and she's just ready to go right now. She's like, I'm 12 and I want to date. And I'm like, no, we're putting you on a leash. You're dangerous.
All right. Doug,
you're going to hurt somebody.
Doug MPA, you got any other questions for her?
No, but Sarah's been supporting for a long time. So thank you for calling.
Yeah,
Sarah.
thanks for calling, Sarah. It was so nice.
Yep.
So
It's
nice
to finally
talking
talk
to you.
guys. It was nice talking to you too.
Call it anytime. Give us an update.
All right.
I was getting black
I will.
pilled. I didn't think pleasant women existed anymore.
I try.
Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
I'm just kidding, guys. I'm not that black pilled. There's like one.
All right,
kidding.
let's go to. Let's make sure to like the video, subscribe, please. We really appreciate it. Thank you for all the super chats. Really appreciate that. Carlos.
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Carlos, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. Remind me, what's your age, and are you married?
I'm 34, and I've been divorced for 3 years.
Okay. So you're the single dad, the kids? You want
Yeah, 4
custody?
kids,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry. I'm not
Yeah.
the names sometimes, but I remember voices. So what have you seen when it comes to waiting till marriage? Did you do it? Obviously, your relationship didn't work out, but maybe you've seen other people and it worked, didn't work. What have you seen?
I mean, I haven't seen any of them work, to be honest. It just, unless the only ones I've seen work, were like where people were married back in like maybe the 50s or 60s and they're old now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, but we live in a different time now where it was something that captivated me with one of the videos that you showed was the whole, people always want to say like, oh, because we found Jesus type deal. Yeah, they may have found Jesus, but do they read the Bible? Do they know what it says? We see how like the divorce rates are out, like skyrocketing. And I'm pretty much, I think one of the only things that Jesus said about marriage was like, you can't divorce. The only grounds for divorce was adultery. But we see that no one's looking at that these days, even people that go to church. So it's, it's very slippery ground when it comes to that situation.
Have you ever dated a woman that tried to wait for marriage? Like she either waited or like did the re-wait thing? And like, what was that experience like, if so?
Yeah, I did. She told me she only had been with one guy. She had got in a car accident, was in a coma, and that.
So 3. Sorry.
What was that? What was that?
So 3.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. And that's the thing. You don't know.
Go on.
But with this person, she told me she only been with one guy, and that her husband cheated on her when she was in a coma because he didn't know if she was going to come out of it. She came out of it and all this other stuff. But no, it's very hard to tell. I mean, even for myself, I ask women. I mean, I don't ask them before I sleep with them, but I ask women afterwards, how many men have you been with? And it's just because you don't know. And I think the only way that you could really find out if this person's really a virgin is if you do like a polygraph test. And it's like that's like asking a woman to do a DNA test when you're having a baby. It's going to be a sour subject. But at the end of the day, all relationships are a risk.
Yeah.
You don't know what that person's going to do.
Yeah.
So the girl that was, so do you think, like, would you be open to getting married again?
Yeah, and something, because I mean, like I said, I'm a single father of 4 kids. Like my social life is like shot. It's just the truth. So I know I use the dating websites and stuff like that, and a lot of the women that I run into, they have kids too and whatnot, and I mean, I wouldn't mind getting remarried. It's just like, you got to ask the right questions. Like one question I ask, and it's not right away, but did you cheat on your husband? Like, did you sleep with someone else? And they're like, well, yes, because he wasn't showing me this, he wasn't showing me that, and all this other stuff. I was like, well, couldn't you just divorce them and then do something?
Well,
so it's just like.
So yeah. I was just wondering if a girl asked you to wait till marriage, Like if she says she's a virgin, would you consider waiting till marriage?
I'm doing the polygraph test. Seriously, like no, if a woman wants to pull that card, she'll have no problem doing it.
And you gotta make sure you gotta add in, have you blown anybody, finger? Women do so many loopholes.
No, I'm telling you, yeah, there's so many things that you have to, it's just not penetration. Like, yeah, I mean, it's called oral sex for a reason. So
Okay.
yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think about my kids. Like I honestly, for my kids, I'm really and seriously thinking about doing like arranged marriage.
Yeah, I mean and even then, I mean, if the girls say no, like there's nothing that's stopping them. No offense, but there's nothing that's stopping them from downloading an app and going crazy. I don't
and
think
I'm just
fathers...
more worried about my daughters, not my sons. I'm going to teach my sons, just wait. I mean, because technically young men don't have really that much value. They don't have jobs. They don't have, I mean, they have a long way to go till they get their value. So, but women, especially if they're beautiful, even women that aren't beautiful or are just average, they have value. They can access anybody that they want if they wanted to. So
I know. And
it's,
men don't have as much control as they think. Like I'll hear Tate say like, oh, my daughter would never do that. I'm like, there's a lot of fathers that have said that. And you just, once they're 18,
Yeah, if who's that mega pastor? The black dude, whose daughter was a single mom.
And I'm 1 of 10. And
T.D. Jakes.
Yeah, go ahead.
T.D. Jakes' daughter, who was like a total single mom. Like she literally wanted to rebel. She was paying attention to everyone but me, so I got pregnant and became a single mom. Yeah, exactly. T.D. Jakes' daughter.
Well, and I'm 1 of 10.
17-year-old single mom.
So I've even seen how like different kids turn out so differently, even with the same exact parents. Like just different. I would say he's cooked, but he's toast. OMG. I think he's talking about the last guy. But I wish you luck. How old's your oldest kid?
It's about to turn 8.
Oh, okay. You got a little bit of time. Maybe they'll like invent some solution. By that, it'll probably get worse.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just, I think things are going to turn out worse as time goes on. So we'll probably see naked people walking around before we know it.
All right. Thanks for calling in.
Absolutely.
That was funny. Guys are so funny. They think of everything. We're going to do a polygraph test.
It's on the wrong person.
Do polygraphs aren't they like susceptible to do that? Like how accurate are they? Could you even know?
Yeah, you can be a professional polygrapher. It's a whole thing. It's a whole industry. Yep. Okay, Shidrone, you're on mute, but you're up next. Shidrone, Chudrone, you're on mute. Chudrone, you're on mute. Chudrone going once. Chudrone going twice. Third time, I'll put you back in the waiting room. I'll try you back in a little bit. Next up, we have Sean. Sean's coming up. Sean, are you there? Sean? You sound really far away, bud. Hello? Okay. Sean's been on the show before, so I know he knows what he's doing. I'm going to put him back in.
It's actually kind of crazy. Waiting till marriage ensures you the worst sex possible. For men, anyways. Like, it's like you get the worst.
Yeah, I would agree. For sure. We'll try JC. You're up next. JC is connecting to audio. Guys, like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. All the super chats are appreciated. We really appreciate it. JC, are you there? JC? JC, are you there? JC going once. JC going twice. JC going 3 times. And you're back in the waiting room. Next up, we have Jake. Jake is coming up next. Jake, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, Jake, how's it going?
Great, Pearl. Pearl, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Is there anybody out there who waits until marriage that is not religious?
Do I know anybody that did? Not that I know personally, but I'm sure no, there might have been one person that came on my show that claimed they were like, they have a channel though, so when the relationship's public, you kind of are like, there's incentives to not be overly honest, but there's one person I think they're not religious, but off the top of my head, no. So have you found people that aren't religious?
No, never.
Yeah.
The only people I've ever known who waited until marriage were religious. That's it. That's all.
Okay. And how did it turn out for them?
To tell you the truth, I don't even know because I've lost touch with those people, and I have no clue how their stories ended. I do know people who weren't religious and then became religious as adults, and then kind of conveniently stopped having sex and met somebody and then waited till marriage.
Okay.
Most of those people turned out all right, but I think that most of those people actually had genuine faith. And because they had genuine faith, I think that they actually were a part of good communities where there was accountability and there was shame. Like, oh no, if I get divorced, how am I going to face my friends and that sort of thing?
So how long have they been married now? They have kids and stuff?
The only example that's coming to mind, this specifically, is my aunt and my step-uncle, but they met and got married in their 40s, and they both had previous marriages and grown children.
So they waited till marriage in their 40s?
No, they were Christians by the time, they were Christians when they both got divorced, and then they got back out on the dating market. They met and they got married pretty quickly after meeting. Does that make sense?
No, it does. Doug MPA, do you have any questions for him?
I do not.
Well, thanks for calling in. I appreciate the insights.
Have a good one, buddy. Call anytime.
Yeah, please do. I sent this to my, I don't want to say who, but someone I know that's dated a lot of Christian girls, I'll say. Oh, he said, if I get a break, I will. Okay.
Ooh. I accidentally removed a killing accident. That was my fault, buddy. Sorry about that. That was a misclick. Sorry about that.
I'm unable to join the meeting for some reason. Well,
that was the guy that we had earlier that was asking about the Clipper thing. I accidentally clicked on it. Sorry about that. Okay, we'll let in Donnie because he's always really, really quick.
Hey, what's up, Doug? What's up, Pearl?
Hey, Donnie, how's it going?
I'm surviving.
So what's your thought on the topic? Do you know anybody that's waited for marriage? How did it turn out for them or you if you did it?
Well, I'm not married, but I didn't wait for marriage. I used to believe in the whole purity culture stuff. If you've ever grown up being raised by a single mom and you watch Maury enough times, you're going to look at that and realize, wow, it's not a good thing to have children out of wedlock. But the thing was, eventually it became kind of a cope because if you're not really desired by the opposite gender, it really doesn't matter. And the thing is, as I got older, I became more secular, actually dating people. Attraction and dating really is amoral. Even people who claim to value certain values, they'll abandon them when they see someone they're attracted to.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the
100% true.
like, you know, people like Jeremy Meeks and these other pretty boy bad boys. You know, there are women who say,
"Oh yeah,
I'd never date someone like that. I'd never give money to someone like that." It's like, if a guy is good looking enough, he can murder children and do the cruelest, evilest, loserest shit. And women, even Christian women, will love them. But the opposite is also true.
Yeah, true.
A man could literally research a cure for cancer, feed starving children.
Johnny,
Sorry.
I went to community college with a girl who's who was met. Her parents were married, but then they were in the church. I don't know why I didn't think of this until now. And the mother would join that program where like Christians would go into prisons and like preach, you know, and proselytize and like try to preach the word to prisoners. And
Jail,
she
baby.
slept with a prisoner and got pregnant with her and had her. And it like destroyed the family.
Conceived in
So
sin.
she was literally living with the shame of her mother, you know, breaking up their Christian household because they had like the 3 other kids. So she was number 4.
Mm-hmm.
And the mother cheated on the husband with a prisoner and had her. It broke the family up. Yeah.
Damn.
So she was living with that. Isn't that crazy?
That's Jerry Springer meets Oz messed up.
Yeah.
You know, Oz, the prison show. But anyway, I'll be quick. I know some Christian virgin friends of mine. Like, even though I'm an atheist, I still keep up with them, and some of them are virgins waiting for marriage, and it may or may not happen. But it's more so because some of them are just too scared to even talk to women. I mean, I don't deny Christian women are messed up, but a lot of my Christian virgin friends, they never really learned how to actually date. It's like church told them everything about how to be a good husband, but never how to, you know, ask the girl out, see if she's actually into you. I know men who've wasted years in the friend zone. It's like, look, get the yes or the no early. If you can, try to sleep with someone. At the very least, go for the kiss, but you don't do yourself any favors with all this needless waiting.
Well, it's almost like making failure a virtue because you're failing your burden of performance as a guy. Like, because
I'm sorry, real quick before I go.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a lot of the burden of performance material, it comes from Rollo Tomasi and Richard Cooper stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take this the wrong way, but I really fucking hate those guys because they seemed righteous when they started, but it's like they shill this false narrative that as men get older, we become more valuable. Like, no, most men, when they hit 30, 35, they're not rocking it like Boomhauer or John Redcorn.
Mm-hmm.
Most men turn into Bill Dauterive, fat, balding, broke. If you're not building up those early wins, if you're not having early success with women, building healthy relationships, if you're stagnating and getting older, you're not going to age like fine wine. Wine doesn't even get better in real life. It usually just gets better. But that's enough for me. I know you guys got a busy line, so I got to go. Love the show, Doug. Love the show, Pearl. Later.
Thanks for calling in.
See you, buddy. Cool.
Next thing, Rollo's going to do like a 5-hour stream.
you know that's coming.
He's like, Pearl said my name.
She used to keep her name out of my mouth. No,
he'll say, don't talk about me, and he does a 3-hour stream.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
me.
That's what I'd say.
Oh
He's gonna say she used to keep my name out of her mouth, and then talk to you, and then talk about you for 7 hours.
7 hours. I'm like, you're crazy, man.
Next up, we have Francois. Francois' audio is connecting. We have 361 likes, 537 people. So keep smashing that like button. We'd really appreciate that. Francois' audio is connecting. We're gonna give it connecting.
I think
going
too,
once.
men that get a lot of girls in a certain social environment but don't have the skills like graduate out. I've seen that happen where guys are like in a frat or in some place where getting women is kind of easy, or like they're on a team or something, but then when they like enter the workforce or something, they don't have any skill because it was just like the right guy at the right time. Have you seen that, Doug, MPA?
Yeah, 100%. That's why, a lot of high school football players flame out in high school, or they're popular in college and stuff. Yeah, that doesn't transfer. Um, that doesn't transfer out to the real world a lot of the times. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
What's up, Doug MPA?
Hey,
are you there?
I'm good. What's going on, Bert?
Hey, so what are your thoughts on the topic? Have you seen anybody that's waited till marriage? Did it work out or did it not work out?
Hell no. It never worked out. I'm going to be very, very particular here on this call, right? So I don't want to sound red pill, but I gotta say, guys, be very, very pushy about clapping these chicks earlier, because the more you clap them chicks, the better you become later on. Now, I gotta say, for some of the guys out there that are, religious, right? I understand that you cannot break your customs, you cannot infringe to your beliefs. So you probably won't go in there and try to break it and make it loose a little bit. So you can wait, but the more you wait, the harder it's become for you to adjust, right? I'm not going to refer to some of the guys out there, the red pills, but they are 100% on the point. If guys are not trained to know exactly what it is with the females, they're going to mess it up because they're going to get played. Also for the females, if I have a sister, I really don't want to be out. I don't want her to be out there and getting slammed by these guys, right? So I want to protect her. I really want to protect her, but I can't. She cannot be out there too, trying to learn about these guys and not be able to be vulnerable at the same time, because she's got to find the good guys. So she has to be also, wise, street. She got to be street wise and book wise, right? Smart. So street smart and book smart.
Cool.
So right. So I don't want her to be taking advantage too, especially if she's a Christian. So I think she's also needs to wait. But the fact is, to close this bottom line is, we are in the 21st century. Our father and mother relationship is not the same as it used to be. Now they will lie to you, just like the guys earlier. I don't know if his name was Will and everybody else. You need to have a lie detector, buddy. You need to have a lie detector, because you're gonna ask her, "Did you break it loose earlier before I got here?" She's probably gonna say no. You're gonna get played. Everybody is out there having fun.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in. Okay.
All right. Cool.
The audio is just not great.
Yeah, it was giving me a headache. Sorry, man. That's why your audio was just too bad. Sorry. Okay. Sean, I tried to bring you up before. I'm bringing you up again. So you better. Sean, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hey, Sean. How's it going?
It's going well.
So what are your thoughts on the topic? Do you know anybody that waited till marriage, and how did it work out?
Yeah, I mean, the only ones that I know who waited till marriage were usually like a Christian background, but they came from like an Eastern culture that is very like low percentage demographics here in the US. So it's a little bit harder to meet people. And the ones that I know that got married, they got married in their 30s to guys who they didn't really find that attractive, but maybe financially are where they want them to be. So it is kind of a beta sort of relationship that they kind of have with them.
Mm-hmm.
But those sorts of marriages are more pragmatic and more value exchanges than they are about love. So if that's your expectation for a marriage, then I guess it worked out well. But if you're looking for more of the Eurocentric sort of love-based marriage, no, I've literally never seen that.
Okay. And are they still married?
Yeah, I mean, they're still married. I mean, the cultural background that these folks come from, like basically everyone stays married, but they kind of stay miserably married, if that makes sense.
Got
So
it.
like, 20 years into that marriage, it's no different from a love-based marriage.
And how
it's
long,
usually
the
relatively
couples you're
sexless.
thinking of, how long have they been married?
So far, they've been married for, at least they're around my age, so they've been married for about 3 years, so not that long.
Okay, so we'll see still.
Yeah.
You kind of
yeah,
like,
I mean,
you get a better idea. Like, it's like, I kind of put 10, 20. So like 10, maybe 20. It's like, I think if you make it to 20, you're most likely going to make it. It's either 20 or 25. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the cultural family background that they come from, it's more of a collectivist mindset. So marriage is not really about your personal happiness. It's about more family ties and things like that. So it's more of a shame-based culture, a lot of social stigma. So everyone in your family's married. So like, if you're the first one to break that, it looks really bad. And you're going to be sort of ostracized from your community. So more than likely they will stay together. Everyone in their families are all, continuously married. But it's not necessarily like a very happy, loving marriage, right? It's just marriage in general, right? So
cool.
That's really what you kind of see. But yeah, sort of, where I have seen like other folks who, I guess, more to the topic of virginity specifically, like I've seen the smart girls that I've seen like on the Christian side, they get married young and they leverage their capital as a young, fertile virgin to seek a very financially rewarding guy, so to speak. Like I knew this one girl at my office, she would go every single lunch period to the local hospital and sit down in their cafeteria hoping to meet a surgeon. And eventually she came back 6 months later, married to a not so attractive looking guy, but he made a lot of money. So like the smart ones know to capitalize their beauty and youth and fertility when they're young. But whenever like I would meet girls that are like PhDs that are in their late 20s that are virgins, usually they're like trying to use it as a kind of like brokering a relationship on like sort of terms that they want. They think it's like some sort of valuable power that they have, which I just find ridiculous. Like if you're past 25 and you're still a virgin, to your point, Pearl, like there's something usually wrong with you. Like either you're sexually repressed in a very negative way, or, you're trying to get a one-up on a guy by saying, hey, I'm a virgin, by the way, so I'm somehow better than these other girls, which is, in my opinion, it's ridiculous.
I'd say it's time to start. I'd say it's time to start fucking. That'll get you further than that card. Like after 25, it's time. Ladies, it's time for your hoe phase. It's time to start fucking on the first date.
I mean, to be honest,
I didn't say with everybody, but if she's a virgin in her late 20s, there's no way she won't take some L's. So it's just gonna. Go ahead.
I mean, I was gonna say, to be honest, I don't think most guys like in today's day and age necessarily care if the girl's a virgin. I think they just care if the girl is very selective in who they will be with and very long-term minded. So if they're screwing losers and F-boys, I think that really kind of ticks off a lot of guys to be like number 10 or number 15. But if they've only like, been with, let's say 2-3 guys and these were like hardworking guys, but for whatever reason, it didn't work out with them, but they are long-term minded. Like these are long-term relationships, not situationships, not friends with benefits or things like that. I don't think most guys care, but usually the girls that guys are running into these days are doing a lot of nonsense and running it up until 30.
Yeah, but if she's hot, if she's a mid, if she's hot, like she might have 100% relationship rate. But like, cause that's another way they'll get you guys is they like expand how long they dated somebody.
That's true.
And they don't tell you about the L. Like if you're a mid, like you're going to take some L's. Like, do you know what I mean? Like if you're beautiful, then you won't, but or you'll take less.
Remember, they can take L's and they can always maneuver it because women they can always tell the female friendly version of any L where they're the hero,
or just pretend it didn't exist.
Victim in the same story.
Like if a girl downloads Tinder and even if she wants a relationship, she sleeps with a guy a few times, he doesn't call her back. She could just pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah, or she can call him a narcissist. All these
That's
terms
true.
that women come up
But
with.
that's why some of these churches just leave these women, like, I'm like, they're never, if they're not super hot, that strategy is not going to work. I mean, hot girls can get away with fucking murder, but
That's true, but I would say it's more of an economic situation, given that like most of the country's kind of overweight or obese or,
Yeah,
or
that
not
too.
really taking care of themselves. It's almost like the more attractive girls know they have more power, they can get away with more shit.
oh yeah.
That wouldn't be tolerated in countries that have a normal BMI that you'll see on the other side of the world, right? Whether it's in Europe or
completely.
Asia, etc. So it's almost like it's giving a lot of the more attractive girls way more leverage. And if you're a guy and you worked really hard all your life, trying to settle for a below average girl and an overweight girl, it's like a total middle finger to you for like all your hard work. So I don't fault a lot of guys for going for kind of the hot girls who maybe, they've kind of run the field a little bit. Cause like, if you are going to be with one girl, presumably for the rest of your life, probably not, but for whatever period of time it lasts, you want an attractive girl for all the hard work you've done. So I don't necessarily blame those guys.
I don't either. If I was a guy, I would just go for the hottest girl. I'm hypergamous, so I would just go for the hottest girl possible if I was a guy, because she's going to leave. The mids are leaving too. You might as well just get a hot chick.
That's true. I've seen a lot of like quote unquote loyal girls that are not necessarily the most active. They're like out of their marriages now that they've had their 2 kids. They're 7 years in. So like if you are going to get divorced, you might as well, rent the Ferrari and not the Corolla, right? If that makes sense.
Plus you can just you can have a public picture of your ex that was really hot, and then then you can get hotter girls.
That is true. Like girls will see like your Instagram or your past photos, and if they view like that girl as much hotter than like what they are, like that'll instantly make them message you a lot more compared to like if you have like a 300-pound ex-girlfriend, like you're not going to get anything.
Yeah,
So,
totally. Cool. Well, thanks for calling in.
absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one. Okay, next up, Brad has been waiting for a while. He's always a good call. Guys, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, share the video, and thank you for all the super chats. We really appreciate it. You guys have been super chatting a whole lot, and all the super chats are appreciated. Brad, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Brad, are you I use your name for like one of the Chad archetypes.
Yeah, I know. And when I was coming up in my early years, I was kind of a Brad in training, so to speak. I mean, if you ask if I know anybody who held out, I was a virgin until I was 21, and I lost my virginity to the woman I married. And that was over 40 years ago.
Great.
So
it worked out.
Yeah,
for you?
I know somebody. Well, it worked out. I talked to you last week. I'm the guy that was married for 36 years. My wife kicked me to the curb because she felt she could do better on her own after I, provided what I could up until that time. So I didn't know that was going to end up that way. And I've learned a lot about, women's thinking from listening to people like you and a number of other people who've got podcasts on YouTube about the way women think, and it has revealed a lot. But, as far as this not waiting till marriage, I've seen in my years a big difference between, say, the 60s and 70s and what the attitudes were. I had a friend in high school that he was kind of like the real person that you'd call a Chad or a Brad or a Tyrone. I mean, he'd see a girl and he was smooth. He knew what would give him an opportunity to get them alone, and then he'd make a move on them. And there was still that on the girl's side of it, that feeling that she needed to express a certain amount of reluctance. No, I don't, not now, that kind of thing, which I don't think you really see that much anymore. Yeah, I hear you laughing, but I mean,
true,
it's
yeah.
true, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when girls brag, you see them on I don't watch TikTok except for what shows up from TikTok on YouTube, but you see them bragging in street interviews about all the guys they've been with just since yesterday, And oh my goodness, I mean, we used to get called down by girls in high school just because our language was common. Oh, that's common, garage talk, gutter talk, sex talk, just, oh, that's just so nasty. It's a whole different world now. I mean, I still, from a moral perspective, I don't see where, if I set religion aside, I'm not so sure that I see the point about, sleeping with girls, sleeping with women, as a preliminary step, as if that somehow gave you an edge. Because I think we've admitted that there's such a level of deception when you're engaging with a woman, what she pretends to be, that whether it's the speech or her actions and she pretends to be this person, or whether she sleeps with you and makes you think, I'm going to be getting great sex. There's no guarantee that you're actually getting reality. And I can't complain, because even though I was a virgin, my wife was not. And I knew she wasn't, because I knew she'd been living with a guy at his family's home as his live-in girlfriend, and that they were intimate before we got together. But I did not know how much of a party girl she was, secretly behind the scenes, sneaking off during classes to go meet up with a guy and get it on at his parents' place while they were at work and things like that, until after we'd been married for years. And the sex was fine. I got plenty of it for more than 3 decades. And I never had any complaints about the quality. So, this idea of everything's individual, but the idea that you got to test drive the car and on all that, I think the problem is the flip side of the coin doesn't necessarily get you anything or guarantee anything any better. Some of it's generational. I realize I'm an old fart. I mean, I'm one of the 2 guys in the balcony in the Muppets. I don't know if you guys are familiar with those. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Doug, you're a little closer to me.
What did they say when the church burned down? Holy smokes. Remember those 2 guys?
Yeah, the 2 old cranky old guys in the Muppets, and they're up in the balcony and they're always heckling, whatever's going on. And I've turned into one of those old heckling guys. But I mean, I'm thankful to a degree that I'm not my kids' age, in their 30s, or my son's about to turn 40 next year. And in a position to where, they're trying to make a decision as far as wait or don't wait, or do I sleep with this girl or don't I sleep with this girl? We were primarily worried back in the day about STDs and about unwanted pregnancies. Because you got to realize, nobody would bat an eye now if a young guy walks into a store, goes over to Walmart to the section and buys himself some condoms or whatever. But back in the day, we're talking 40, 50 years ago, that was a whole different story. And you didn't have like Amazon and places where you could order it and have it mailed to you and nobody knew.
Yeah.
Sorry?
No, I said like privately. Yeah, I was just
Yeah. You didn't have the privacy back then. And it was a whole nother thing. It's like I said, even the girls, if you just started talking something that had innuendo or a double entendre, the polite words for sex talk, they would like, oh God, y'all are so common. You guys, boys are nasty.
Yeah.
Back in the day, if a woman got pregnant in high school, she just disappear.
Yeah, I had a girl in my English class when I was in my senior year of high school, and I think she wound up like 5 months or so along before she then finally disappeared. But it was like, it was like a school scandal. I mean, and I'm not in the 50s, so we're not talking about Leave It to Beaverville. But even in the 70s, in spite of the sexual revolution and the summer of '69 and the summer of free love and everything else, this is a very different world. And I think unless you're an old fart like me and you've physically seen the difference, the way things are all anybody's ever known. So it seems normal.
Out of the couples back then, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I will say I'm in my early to mid 60s.
Do you know any couples that are still married?
Well, my folks have been married. They're in their 80s.
Sorry, I meant from your graduating class.
From my graduating class? Yeah, I actually do. In fact, every once in a while, I still have some connections with some of them. My high school graduating class actually linked up a number of people who linked up with other people who connected other people as suggested friends on Facebook. And so I still see regularly what's going on with a lot of my classmates. And I'm amazed that I know of at least 2 couples that were like the hot couples dating in high school. and they're still married.
Oh, they're the hot
and they
people.
post stuff
It kinda
of
makes
activities
sense.
they do together and everything.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it kind of
It's
women that get the chads in their social group. I've kind of seen, like, I that's just what I've noticed. They stay married longer.
Yeah, I was a romantic. I had opportunities to, to get with and to smash,
Mhm.
and I turned them down. It wasn't that they weren't attractive.
Mhm.
It's just, to me, my thinking back in the day was, if they're that available for that, I first of all, I don't want to get a girl pregnant,
Mhm.
because there was too many potential stories of people who knew people where, the girl got pregnant and they had to get married because of the baby, and then they couldn't stand each other.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to wind up in that situation. And then the other thing was the concern that, if she's going to have sex with you, don't think you're so special that you're the only one she's willing to have sex with or is having sex with.
Yeah.
So, while I was in high school and in my very early 20s before I got married, my concern was if she was too flirty and hinted too much at the idea, hey, I'll sleep with you. I was like, no, I don't want that. I want a relationship. So I really wanted to date somebody and have a relationship first. So I wound up with basically my childhood sweetheart. We met when I was 13 and she was 11.
Mm-hmm.
And we continued to kind of connect off and on through the years.
Mm-hmm.
And as adults, I saw her and met her again, and we had a conversation going. And she asked me out. And we went on a couple of dates, and I went to visit her she was still living with her parents, visited her at parents' home for a number of dates. And then we went out together.
Mm-hmm.
And, we did some petting and some light stuff, but we didn't get into any oral sex. We didn't get into any actual intercourse or any of that until after we were married. In fact, I married her. She was on her period. So we had to wait for the honeymoon.
Well,
so anyway, that's a different side of things. And
Yeah.
hopefully that's of some use.
Cool. Well, thanks for calling in. Call in anytime. And
Will
yeah,
do.
I appreciate the insight. So thank you.
All righty. Y'all have a good one.
You too.
We just have to take one more person because he's been waiting.
SoCal lowbrow, be nice. This guy makes me want to chop my ear off and move to the south of France.
In fact, I'm bringing him up.
This
Brad, I was talking to
conversation's
you,
make
buddy.
me go to Ketchum, Idaho. All right.
SoCal, where you at, buddy? You're on mute.
SoCal.
SoCal, you're on mute, buddy. You're on the show, Mr. Super Chatty Catty. SoCal. Are you there? SoCal going once. SoCal going twice. SoCal going 3 times. And it is time to wrap the show up because I am tired.
Yeah, I'm getting sleepy. This was a great show, though. This is a really cool conversation.
Yeah, and we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
Maybe we
13
could do a
people.
part 2 a different day.
Yeah,
Just
I
because
think
this is a
so.
good conversation. I was hoping to have someone that it worked out for. During the show I looked up the woman who, like I said, she got married young and she's still married. So I think I'm 28. I think she was 22. So 6 years now.
Cool.
Guess we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
They seem happy though. So.
Yeah, I just wouldn't. I wouldn't recommend to. I don't have any kids, but I wouldn't recommend to a daughter or a son to wait till marriage. No way. In this current market, heck no. Nope. Sorry.
If you're gonna recommend your kid, find the husband. Like that's what if you're gonna recommend your daughter does that, find the guy. But remember, at 18, it's her choice. So if she wants to download Tinder, you can't really stop it. All right. So, any other final thoughts, Doug MPA?
Nope. That's it.
Well, guys, thank you so much for watching this show. And please let me know in the comments. I love getting your personal experiences because you find out more from people's personal experiences in my opinion. So if you have a personal experience on the topic, put it in the comments. Did you wait? Did it work out for you? Yes or no? And let me know why. Like the